Hi everyone! These are the 5 reasons why you should always wear sunscreen. Now when I was growing up, I was highly recommended to make sure I always put on sunscreen. And I initially thought it was because my mom didn't want me to get too dark when I would go out into the sun. But I realized that sunscreen is super important for multiple reasons. And I thought no better time than now to share what those reasons are. Number 1, it keeps your complexion even. Sunscreen is a great way to keep the skin tone even to avoid things like differences within complexion as well as sunspots. Number 2, sun protection. As we know, the sun emits harmful UV rays on the skin. The use of sunscreen can minimize the penetration of these UV rays within the skin. This then reduces any chance of things like sunburn or other skin disorders that can have lasting imprints on the skin. Number 3, it helps to keep you young. Overexposure to the sun can increase the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. With proper use of sunscreen, this keeps the skin youthful. This can keep the skin looking youthful and young. Number 4, it reduces the risk of cancer. Skin cancers such as melanoma can be life-threatening, especially to women in their 20s. It's not just about when we go out to the beach or go out to areas. Indoor lighting also emits UV rays, so it's super important to make sure that we keep our skin protected and always be wearing sunscreen as our last step. Number 5, it keeps the skin healthy. Essential proteins like keratin are protected when using sunscreen. Since these proteins are there to keep the skin healthy, this in turn makes sunscreen a must-needed beauty product. Now when choosing sunscreen, there's a few things you should look out for. The first word you should look for when choosing that sunscreen is broad spectrum. Broad spectrum. Okay. Broad spectrum. I will get it. Broad spectrum refers to the term of sunscreen protecting against UVA and UVB rays. Now, all sunscreens protect against UVB rays. This is actually the primary cause of skin cancers and sunburns. However, UVA rays actually age the skin and cause wrinkles and fine lines, as well as other sun damages. That's why it's important to choose broad spectrum to cover both UVA and UVB rays. The next thing to look out for is that the SPF is 30 or higher. SPF 15 or lower only helps to protect the skin against sunburns. It does not cover premature aging or skin cancers. The SPF number is actually what determines how powerful the product is against protecting the skin from UVB rays. SPF 30 filters about 97% of UVB rays. As you get higher than 30 in the SPF, it really does not make a significant amount of difference. For example, 50 SPF will filter about 98% UVB rays, and 100 SPF will filter 99% of UVB rays. So what you want to look for is an SPF of 30 to 50. This means you're in a great position of really protecting yourself against the UVB rays and also keeping your skin looking young. Another thing to keep in mind is that water resistant does not mean waterproof. So if a product states that it's water resistant, you want to keep in mind checking how many minutes that would be. Is it 40 or is it 80 minutes? And this is of course while swimming or while sweating. A good rule of thumb is to reapply your sunscreen every 2 hours. This includes sunscreen for the face as well as any areas that are exposed to the sunlight. It's also very important to make sure that the eye area is protected since it is the thinnest layer of the skin around the face. Now the product that I absolutely love is the Cellular Labs De-Aging Sunscreen. It is a broad spectrum SPF of 50, so I'm a super big advocate of this, primarily because of the green tea extract and the fact that it's an anti-aging product as well. Beyond the fact that it's kept my skin protected, kept my skin tone even, and my complexion even, I actually have hyperpigmentation on my face as well as freckles all over my nose. And I personally notice that when I go out into the sun, more freckles will appear. And although I do think it's quite cute, I do want to keep them to a limit and keep them on my nose only. So this has been such a lifesaver for that because it's kept my skin protected, and I do notice a huge difference when I am wearing it versus if I ever forget. So this would be a big recommended on my list of products that you gotta check out, and probably one of my favorite sunscreens on the market to date. Well, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you found this very informative, and I'm just so excited to share all of my skincare secrets with you. So thank you for tuning in. Please make sure to comment below with some of your favorite sunscreens and products that you recommend on the market. I'd love to check them out. Otherwise, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Skin tone to become super uneven, so you look like a zebra. As we know, the sun and the skin can then look youthful as well as less leathery. Whether swimming or sweating, if it will last 40 hours to 80 hours. That's not great. This is why 30 to 50 SPF is a perfect, wait, your sunscreen, wait, your sunscreen, wait, your sunscreen, wait, your sunscreen. Proteins like K, like K. Broad spectrum, broad, oh. Broad spectrum? What does that mean, broad? Broad spectrum basically means that, what does it basically mean? Broad spectrum. That's why it's good to choose broad spectrum, which covers both UVA and UVB oh my God. Oh. UVA rays. Okay. Protect. She would always use the phrase, Rachel, you're going to get dark. Healthy proteins like keratin are there to be protected when using sunscreen. I don't think that is right. It's also very important to make sure the eye area is super protected. So feel confident